everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a wrap-up for all the books I read in September. Yes, I know it's already October and I'm probably the last person to upload the wrap-up, but you know what? I'm just going to do the wrap-up anyway. It's better late than never, right? So September was quite productive and I'm happy that I was able to read 5 books. I read 2 Dresden File books and 3 indie self-published books, and they're White Knight, Small Favors, An Ocean of Others, Nexus Point, and The Treasure of LOR-REV. I really enjoyed all of the 5 books, and so it was a pretty good reading month for me. I started reading Dresden Files early this year, and so far I have been having a blast with the series. It's a very popular series and quite loved by the book community. When I started reading it, I knew that what I was getting into because I've heard quite a few criticisms for the series, at least for the beginning books. The earlier books had a few things that I wasn't a huge fan of, and most of the problem was surrounding the male gaze, but other than that, it was amazing with great world, supernatural elements, thrilling and fast-paced mystery plot. So the books are in first-person narrative, and we follow Dresden, who is our main protagonist. He's a private investigator and a wizard in the modern Chicago. Each book is around the investigation of different supernatural events that takes place in Chicago, and White Knight is the 9th book in the series. Since I'm talking about the 9th and 10th book in the series, I might mention events or moments that can be considered as spoilers, so feel free to skip ahead if you want to avoid those. I'll leave the timestamps in the description, so you can skip ahead if you don't want to get spoiled. So in this book, a series of suicides have happened, and the police believe something is off about these deaths, and so Dresden is called in to consult and finds out that it's a work of the serial killer who's leaving magical calling cards after every murder. He's also targeting the magic community, and upon further investigation, Dresden finds out that a man fitting his description and his brother is found around the women who went missing or died, and this makes things even more complicated. So now his brother is a suspect, and people are suspecting him of foul play. So there are more players at play, and in this book we get a lot of the older characters making an appearance, and also a few new ones are also introduced. The pacing is fast. I really like the mystery element. It was also done well. Even though the main mystery is regarding the serial killer, we also get to know that it's just part of a bigger puzzle. I really enjoyed this book. I liked seeing some of the older crew make their comeback. We also get to see more of character development for these characters, some introspective moments, and also some changes in dynamics within the group. If you've read the book, you know that there are a couple of scenes with Molly towards the beginning of the book, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. To me, that scene could have been done differently without her being exposed to that particular situation. It felt inappropriate for a lot of reasons, despite her being legal and all. So because of that Molly and Dresden situation, I decided that I did not want to read that, especially in the book, with her being so young. I gave the book 4 stars. Apart from that, I enjoyed everything else. That part and a few other scenes similar to that, the previous books also made me feel a little bit uncomfortable, if that's even the right word. It's just, no, let's not do that, please. So the second book is Small Favors, and it's the 10th book in the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. A couple of things are happening as usual in Chicago. The Denarians are back in town, winter has come early, fairies are warring with each other, criminal underlord Malcoze has gone missing. So saying Chicago is under attack and in chaos would be an understatement. We have a new cast of characters to whom we get introduced, and also some older faces making their appearance. So the White Council is convinced by Dresden to issue objection to the kidnapping of Malcoze, and Archive is invited as a neutral party for this discussion. Denarians obviously had a bigger plan in their mind, and so they goes against the agreement that was previously made, which is no surprise. I mean, we're talking about the fallen angels, right? This was action-packed and so much more crazier than all the previous books. We also got several funny moments with Dresden and the Gruffs. I really love those scenes. Some new alliances forming while also having a few heart-to-heart conversations. The scene with Gert in the beginning with Dresden, Denarian, and Gert was super badass. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right. There were so many genius moments that Dresden put into place in this book. Really love that. With the Denarians back in town, let's just say it's going to be chaotic, it's going to be destructive, and it's going to be massive. And that's exactly what happened. I was really emotional with this book because the fear of losing some of my favorite characters was so high, it's not even funny. Dresden obviously had very good, grounding, heartwarming moments with Archive and also with Kincaid too, and it just made me tear up. I read those parts. The new development with Lucio and Dresden was totally out of left field for me. I was like, where did that come from? I'm thinking there are going to be more complications because of that recent development. Let's see what will happen in the next book. Also, Dresden seemed to have gotten 2 new powers, which is also always fun, considering the fact that he just lost Lash in the last book. The book was really high stakes, action packed scenes, and emotionally driven moments, and such a great read. I really loved this book. And so my rating for The Small Favors is 4.5 stars. And now on to the third book, An Ocean of Others by Joshua Scott Edwards. This is a debut self published fantasy book and is one of my favorites for this year. With a very highly inventive world to interesting magic and genre blending moments, this book delivered on all fronts. This is a D&D inspired book, so if that is something that interests you, then definitely go check it out. We follow Grimm and a couple of other group of people who get selected by the agency for handling monsters. And this is a journey that is so much more deadlier than they thought initially. This book is filled with lots of action, mystery, some body horror, and very cool monsters. I really had a good time with this book, and I think it will serve as a solid foundation for the upcoming books, which I'm really excited for. I made a book trailer, aesthetic video of sorts, and also book appreciation arts. So I would link it in the description. If you're interested, go check it out. I also have a video review up on Booktube. I will also leave the links in the description or even in the iCards above. Highly recommend reading this book. Definitely go pick this up. On to the third book, Nexus Point. This is the first book in the Time Ranger series. It's a sci-fi self-published book. The book is set in 23rd century where Time Rangers are sent back to capture the rogue time travelers. And these rogue time travelers have planned to interrupt the timeline of the events, thereby changing the history. So we follow Kai Sawyer, who is the son of the founder and the commander of Time Rangers, and he's a genteelly enhanced human being and has the weight of the expectations of his perfectionist father on his shoulders. Kai is recruited to join lots of important missions, and with each mission, he is expected to follow the instructions and ensure that history does not get changed. The best part of this book was the world building and the different, very popular historical events that takes place as a part of the missions in the book. But there were some moments that I wanted to see more in detail, especially the missions regarding the famous historical moments, like one of the sinking of a very famous ship. There is also assassination of a very public and a famous leader. There's also a lot more details I would have loved to see and character interactions, but those moments or scenes got crunched into really short, action-packed sequence. While that was interesting and enjoyable, I did want to see more details so that I could get a feel of what this character was going through. There was so much transition that happened in this character's life that we didn't get much time to consider or understand his headspace, basically. So, yeah, I really enjoy the details in books, and I think this is more of a personal preference than a fault within the book. I guess I was only one who wanted those things because the final mission in this book is a lot more detailed, and there were so many reviews on Goodreads that I saw with people criticizing that it could have been smaller and a lot more shorter. So, if you are somebody who enjoys a fast, action-packed, plot-driven book, then this book will be great for you. Really like the story. Overall, this was a very enjoyable read, very much accessible, easy to understand writing style. So I've got a lot more questions, and after that epilogue, I'm really interested and curious to see where the story will take and which direction it is going to go. So I gave the book 3 to 3.5 stars. Definitely check it out if you're interested in time travel, interesting world, fast-paced, plot-driven moments, and very accessible story. So the fifth book I read in the month of September is The Treasure of LOR-REV. This is Bryan Asher's second book. It's a self-published sci-fi set in the world of intercontinents. I have reviewed the first book, The Assassin of Malcoze, here on Booktube, so definitely go check it out. I'll be leaving the link in the description down below and also in the iCard above. So, The Treasure of LOR-REV is a short sci-fi that is very accessible with a highly inventive and imaginative world building, likable characters, and interesting plot. This book is a treasure hunt of sorts and has a lot of adventure in it. I really enjoy this book, maybe even more than The Assassin of Malcoze. I like the technological aspects of it. I really enjoy the characters, and I think the plot was a lot more compact in this one, because we do understand what is going on from the beginning and we're not waiting around for the other characters to come together, which I kind of appreciated in this book. I think this was a lot more dynamic and had a lot more action than the first book. So in this book, we follow a few characters. One of the character is the granddaughter of the founder and co-creator of a very interesting technology, and very much advanced, and in the wrong hands could be detrimental or can even wreak havoc on humanity. Founder does not want this technology to be in the wrong hands. We have few devices that are scattered around the intercontinental LOR-REV. The founder and the co-creator of the devices ask his the granddaughter to protect it. Other main character, which is a co-creator and the co-founder of this particular device, and he has grand plans for the world, and he wants to unify everyone under one umbrella of intelligence, and so he's looking for these devices to do that. The other main character is a technology aficionado and a collector who is hoping to find older and rarer technology and to finally sell them for profit, and wanting to travel the world. All of these people come together in a thrilling, adventurous treasure hunt. I really loved seeing how crazy and power hungry one of the main characters was. His plans were beyond him, and he was willing to go to any lengths to achieve the results. He had this big vision that sounded super wonderful, but in reality could enslave all the humans if it was established. Uniting everyone under one umbrella of information sharing can be very dangerous. So I'm super interested by the world Bryan has created in both these books. The world was super cool, very much different, very accessible. The characters were great and dynamic. I really enjoyed getting to know them. The writing is also simple, easy to understand, pretty straightforward. The plot moves really quickly, and if you're looking for shorter sci-fi that is going to be very quick read, definitely go check out The Treasure of LOR-REV. I gave the book 4.5 to 5 stars. It was such a wonderful read, really had a great time with it. Make sure to check it out. Definitely check out all of these books. I really had a great time reading them. If you have any recommendations for indie SFF books, let me know in the comment section down below. So, how was your reading month, and what books did you guys read in the month of September? I would love to hear from you all. That's it for today, folks. Thank you so much. Bye bye.